Yes, good morning, everybody. Sam here on United People's TV. Welcome to United Daily Live. It is Tuesday, the 25th of January. I always look at the calendar. I should probably know the dates before I come on here. It doesn't matter. We're here to talk about Anthony Martial to Sevilla. Here we go, says the man himself, Fabrizio Romano. That it's not been officially confirmed by the clubs, but we'll run through all the details on that deal, why it's important for Manchester United. We're going to have a discussion about Anthony Martial. You let me know what you think about the deal. You let me know whether or not you're happy with the move. X, Y, Z. There's plenty to discuss about Anthony Martial to Sevilla in what is quite a significant move, I think, for Manchester United. Good morning to everybody watching on YouTube and Facebook. You let me know where you're watching from. I can see Marcelino, you're joining in. Nice to see you there this morning. Members of the gang, Manuel, I can see you there. Alex, I can see you there. Josh, I can see you there. Who else we got? Ant, you're there. Jason, good morning to all of you. There's plenty of you watching. And it's going to be, I suppose, a busy show this morning, I think. As I said, we're going to start off by talking about Anthony Martial. We're going to have a real discussion about Tony. You can let me know whether you're happy with the move. You can let me know what you think needs to come next. We're going to be speaking about Jesse Lingard, of course, to Newcastle. We're going to be speaking about Hannibal Mejbri. Oh, yeah, we're going to be speaking about him. And I'm going to run through what James Ducker from The Telegraph is saying about signings. I'm going to run through what Laurie Whitwell from The Athletic is saying about signings and Rob Dawson from ESPN. As well as that, we're going to have some good stuff down here. Got some artwork I want to show you. If you follow me on Twitter, you might know what artwork I'm going to show you, but I need your opinion. But yeah, good morning. Who else? We've got Matt, you're joining in here. Richard, you're watching on Facebook. Good morning to you. Ricardo, watching from Central London, Portuguese. Good morning to you. Jonathan Ross, buenos dias. Martial is finished at United. He probably is. Kieran, you're saying bonjour. And Paulie, you're saying good morning. Plenty of the regulars. Nice to see all the familiar faces here. And maybe see some new ones as well. But look, let's talk about it. Your last night at, 10:30? Fabrizio Romano came out with the 3 words, the magic 3 words. Here we go. Actually, that's not the right one. Where is it? Oh, it is. Yeah. Can't read properly. Anthony Martial from United to Sevilla. Done deal. And here we go. Agreement has been reached tonight between the two clubs. The player has accepted Sevilla was his priority. Sevilla will cover his salary until June, and Martial will fly to Spain in the next few hours. So what's your reaction to this? I really want to know. If you just let me know in the comments your opinions on it. Are you happy? Not happy to see Martial, I suppose. Yeah, are you happy to see Martial go? Would you rather we kept him? There's plenty to discuss about it. Lily, I can see you this morning there. And Victor, you're saying good video on Poch and Ten Hag. Thank you very much, Victor. If you haven't seen that, I did a video looking at the 4 managers who are apparently on the shortlist for our next permanent manager after Ralph Rangnick this year. We've got Eric Ten Hag, we've got Mauricio Pochettino, we've got Luis Enrique, and Julen Lopetegui. I think I've got that right now. I've been told by someone who knows Spanish. Big up to you, Joe. But yeah, let me see what you think about Martial to Sevilla, because Martial 2 years ago, was it 2 years ago? Got 23 goals and 9 assists. And looked an incredible player. Absolutely incredible. His first season, he got 15 goals when he broke through under Louis van Gaal. But that, was it 2019-20, I think it was? Solskjaer's first full season in charge. He looked mustard. He looked fantastic, playing with his back to goal, scoring little tap-ins at the front post, scoring all sorts of goals. It was a very accomplished year from Martial. Then 2020 and 2021 came along, and Martial disappeared off the face of the earth. Let me see what you think about that in the comments. Ian, you're saying Martial wants to go. Good enough reason for me to get him out of the door. And you're saying glad Martial was gone. Concern is that he flops there, comes back in the summer, and we are stuck with him. Talented lad, so I hope for his sake he lights fire over there. I'll say one thing about him. I've got absolutely no doubt in my mind that Martial is going to do very well out with Sevilla. Currently second in La Liga, chasing their first league title in 76 years. How about that for a stat? Go, Sam. Wasn't me that made the stat up. I just read it. But I think he's going to do very well out there. Julen Lopetegui was looking for attacking options to bolster his attack. And Martial's a great option. As I said, 2019-20, 23 goals in all competitions for United. 9 assists. It was a proper season from him. Carl, you're saying best move for both the player and the club. Ken Hillary on Facebook, you're not wrong here. We should invest immediately. Absolutely. Alan Shingley, you're saying Alan Martial is one of the many players who haven't improved under the last 2 or 3 managers. And let's go down here. Mark, you're saying, why loan him out? He doesn't want to be there. He clearly can't get in the team. Get him sold. Mark, I think that would probably be more a case of we couldn't find anybody to pay what we would have wanted for Martial. And bear in mind, he was on 240 grand a week. £240,000 a week. That's a phenomenal amount of money for a player who, yeah, in the last, we would probably say 12, 18 months, simply hasn't been part of the team. That's a phenomenal amount of money. Now, when it comes to what Martial has agreed to, let's have a look over here. Let's go over and go to the next thing that Fabrizio said. He's basically saying Martial will be in Sevilla in the coming hours. Monchi, who is, if I believe, Sevilla's sporting director. Monchi was working on the deal for 2 months. The deal is seen with United straight loan and no buy option confirmed. So it's not a case of we don't know whether or not it's going to go through X, Y, Z. We're going to get pictures today of Martial at Sevilla Airport. We're going to get an announcement officially, probably from Manchester United or Sevilla, either tomorrow maybe or Thursday. But Martial's gone. And for me, it's what Ian said earlier. I know that Martial's a talented player. I've got absolutely no doubt in my mind that he's going to go and score. I reckon I back him to get 10 goals. I back him to get 10 goals between now and the end of the season. I'm sure Sevilla will back him to get 10 goals. Otherwise, why are they going to bring him on loan, right? But if he doesn't want to play for Manchester United, I don't want him to play for. I don't want him to be here. It's as simple as that. It wouldn't matter whether it was Marcus Rashford, whether it was Paul Pogba, whether it was Scott McTominay, whether it was Hannibal Mejbri, Anthony Martial, Phil Jones, any player. If they come out and say, I mean, I know he didn't, but his agent did, say that he doesn't want to play for the club, then see you later. You can leave. It's as simple as that. And there's no agenda. And I know people love to use this word agenda, which is so misused. It's not. It's simpler. And you know, that's just a lie. It is. It's an agenda for Manchester United. Simple fact. If a player doesn't want to play for Man United, I don't want him at the club. Simple. And Martial, he's cut a frustrated figure. He couldn't find a place under Ralph Rangnick for whatever reason, in the same way as Donny van der Beek hasn't been able to find a place under Ralph Rangnick for whatever reason. But I'm happy that he's gone. I think it's good that we've got a player out of that dressing room who doesn't want to be there. Who, I'm not saying that he's a toxic. I'm not making assumptions that Martial's got the wrong attitude. Just because he's got a resting bitch face doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that he doesn't work hard in training. We've seen how he plays on the pitch, and a lot of us will feel he's quite a lazy player. But Berbatov is a lazy player. Doesn't mean he wasn't good. I'm not going to make any assumptions about Martial's character in training because I'm not there, so I don't know. But the simple fact is that we've got rid of a player out of that dressing room that doesn't want to actually be there, and that's a fact. You can't lie with that. Therefore, it should improve, hopefully help Rangnick with the unity of the squad, right? Same with Jesse Lingard, when hopefully his deal to Newcastle goes through. We'll speak about that in a bit more detail. Alex Kim, you're saying there's too many players at Manchester United that are stealing a wage. Well, Phil Jones has been the king of that for a long time, that's for sure. Where's the comment from Jonathan? Didn't see you yesterday, Jonathan. How you doing this morning? Because we have 29 squad players and someone too high a wage to sell, blame the incompetence of Woodward and the way the club is run. Absolutely, Jonathan. We are still suffering from the consequences of years of bad management, years of bad player management, poor contracts, massive contracts being given out to average players. Marcus Rojo was a big one. Phil Jones is another one. Anthony Martial being on 240 a week. That's insane. That's really insane. 240 a week is higher than... Would that make him Liverpool's highest earner? I think it would. Because I think Salah wants to get doubled, and I think he's on 200 grand a week. I think Martial might be on more money than all of the Liverpool squad. Jeez. Very true, says Wilderness Outside. Play for the badge or fuck off. Fergie wouldn't put up with any of this shit. He wouldn't. And I don't want to. And I think that is something that's been lost in the last few years. Obviously, the way that football has modernized in the last, I'd probably say 5 years or so, the player power shift has really gone sort of like skyrocketing upwards. Because of social media, the players have far more influence than they would have had back in the day. And that gives more impetus to the players, to the agents, to sort of try and negotiate better deals for the players. And invariably, they sometimes get them. Sometimes they don't, but sometimes they really do. And it's made it difficult. to negotiate a football club now is far more difficult because of that influence that a lot of players had publicly that they didn't have before. And I don't think United have coped very well with that transition, with that switch, with the modern. United are not a modern club, in my opinion. There's so much that needs to be modernised, and that's part of it for sure. Warren, good to see you here, buddy. So it doesn't matter if he's loaned or sold out, sold or loaned out. He needs to prove his worth to make clubs want to buy him permanently in the summer. I mean, if Martial wants to get into that World Cup squad for France for the Winter World Cup, he's going to have to go out there at Sevilla and nail it. And I personally think he will. I just think he will. It's an exciting season to walk into. Sevilla, title chasing, second currently behind Real Madrid, I believe. Yeah, he'll enjoy that. And I think he should. And I think he'll thrive there. Michael, I can see you here. Joined as a member, my friend. Let me know where you're watching from. Thank you very much for joining and supporting the channel. As always, if you really want to support the channel, becoming a member or sending in a super chat is the best way you can do it. And everything just gets reinvented. The lights came today, by the way, so I can stop looking like I'm in a little bit of a mini brothel. I get some much better lighting in here. The microphone's here. Got some new artwork that I'm going to put on the wall. And I want your opinion on what you want on the wall. Colm, you're saying, Sam, I was never a Martial fan. Wow. I mean, I definitely was. When Martial, that goal against Liverpool. Ah, wow. What a way to announce yourself as an 18-year-old. But 15 goals, I think he scored in that year. Was it? I think it was the next game. He got 2 against Southampton and sat Van Dijk on his arse. I remember that. Let's not try and change the narrative of history, people. Let's not try and say that Martial didn't have great moments. Martial, like Everton, that FA Cup semi-final, that moment, wow, moment of goon there, fantastic. Sad story about that. I was supposed to be taking my ex-missus to that game, but I couldn't get 2 tickets, so I gave my single up to a friend and didn't go. That was a bad game to miss. Very bad game to miss. But look, Martial had plenty of great moments, but Martial, he didn't do it enough in the last 12 to 18 months, and it's about time that we start. You take the emotion out of it, and you look at Martial, the wages he's on. You say you're just not good enough. We've got to be cutthroat. We have to be cutthroat. Michael watching all the way from North Wales. Good to be on board. Glad to have you on board, Michael. I've been to North Wales? I went to the coast of Wales once. It was a long old drive, but I'll tell you what, it was a beautiful 4 days I spent there. It's the end of Martial, says Jimmy. Bring Donny and Lingard with him. Wow. Okay. Well, there's not many that will share that opinion on Donny, and I certainly won't. Although I can't see in the comments, so maybe he's not going to be defending himself. Good morning to you, Ken. Good morning to you, Lee, both watching on Facebook, everybody. By the way, just to let you know, when it comes to the comments, there are so many comments that constantly fly in. I do try and read out as many as possible, but sometimes I do miss it, and I swear it's not on purpose. Whenever I look down, I see a comment. Whenever I look up, I'm talking. What else we got next? I mean, it's going to be a busy week for United. And we all want that central midfield signing. Now, I'm going to do a video. I'm going to put out probably for lunchtime again. As I said, this week, I'm going to be doing live videos every day at 9:30. I'm going to get another video out every single lunchtime. And I'll do extra videos on top of that when it's necessary. Like last night, I went live at 7:30 p.m. Make sure everybody, if you're watching right now, can you turn your notification bells on? Because I went live at 7:30 yesterday, and so many of you weren't there. Probably because you didn't know I was going live. So if you can just hit that notification bell, I'm sure you can do the same thing on Facebook, although I don't know how to do it on Facebook. And that way you won't miss it. Because I was there last night because I could see that the Martial and the Lingard stories were really starting to develop. All of a sudden at 10:30, he came out. Fabrizio Romano came out with the old 10:30 tweet. Here we go. Busy, says Paul. It is busy. What about Ahmad and Lingard, says Rohith. Well, let's move on to the next talking point then. So this one, what we're going to skip on to next, we're going to take a look at a couple of the journalists who I do respect in terms of what they report on United News. And that's James Ducker from The Telegraph and Laurie Whitwell from The Athletic, because we are all desperate, right? We are all desperate to get news of a central midfield signing. So many of you in the comments here before we started, you're like, man, Sam, I don't care. I don't care about outs. Outs are boring. Yeah, outs are boring, but when it comes to United, with a squad that had, 27, 28, 29 players, fact of the matter is we were never going to sign somebody until we got players off the books. Anthony Martial going off the books. Not only, although there's contrasting reports when it comes to whether or not we're going to get a loan fee for Martial. So I'm not sure about that. But at the very least, 240 grand a week is off the wage bill. Now, that's a big thing. Don't sell yourself short. Only read super chats. No, I won't do that. I always do a bit of both, man. Always do a bit of both. Anybody who does send in a super chat, I'll read the super chat out, but I always read out comments as well. That's cool. I like being interactive. It's good fun. Let's go over and let's read here through what James Ducker had to say on the Telegraph. He did a column this morning that basically they were running through City, Liverpool, and Chelsea and what's going on there. And this is what he had to say on Manchester United. And the first line is probably going to make you all a bit sad. There is little expectation of any major incomings at Old Trafford, but it could be a busy final week in terms of players leaving. Obviously, the Martial situation, that's gone through. Let's skip on down here. Newcastle are trying to get a loan deal for Lingard over the line, although United are driving a hard bargain. Apparently, we've turned away interest from Spurs and West Ham because we don't want to sell to or loan and improve a top four rival, which kind of makes sense. Leicester have shown some interest. I found that one quite interesting. I think Lingard would do well at Leicester. It strikes me as a player that would sort of suit that Brendan Rodgers system, if I'm being completely honest. But surely Leicester would be a top four rival. Although I actually don't know where Leicester are this year. Let me look at the table. I mean, have they fallen off a cliff completely? Let's find out. Let's go to the table. Let's have a look. Oh, jeez. They're 10th. They're 10th. My God, they're 12 points behind us. What the fuck has happened to Leicester this year? Jeez. Goodbye, Brendan Rodgers. Well, at least we're not going to get Brendan Rodgers as our full-time manager. Woohoo! Anyway, no offense, Brendan. Right. But Leicester apparently interested in Lingard too. I think that would be a decent move for him, but maybe he wouldn't want to go into a mid-table club. Now, Amad Diallo. That's another one here. Ivory Coast forward Amad Diallo has attracted loan interest from a host of clubs and could go. Now, we know Amad was going to be joining Feyenoord, I believe it was, on loan during the summer, but then he got a really badly timed injury. Really sucked for him. He had to stay at Manchester United, do his rehab, and now he's fit and ready to play. And he's not going to get that game time. I mean, Amad, remember, right? We spent 40 mil, 30 to 40 million on Amad Diallo. 30 to 40 million on a player that we saw, somebody who's so intensely talented, and we're not playing him at all. At all. There's a comment here from Suki. Is it a super chat? Is it a super chat? I don't know what it is, but there's nothing there, my friend. I can't read that. Comment here from Advocate saying, quality of the videos has improved a lot. All the best. Love from India. Thank you very much, my friend. I'm looking forward to getting this new lighting in. That's going to be the clincher. And then we've got some new artwork here. And we've got some new shows starting as well. As I said, it's a good time to subscribe to United People's TV. After the month off with COVID, we're back and we're back with a bang. Hello, Samuel or Samson. What do you think my name is? Is it Samuel or Samson? You let me know in the comments below and I'll tell you after. James Jennings, this would be the best deal in the world, but that's never going to happen. Lingard for Ndidi. Ndidi's actually obviously got knocked out. But yeah, by Tunisia, didn't he? Nigeria got knocked out 1-0. Unlucky. Anan Shingi saying, Martial gone must mean it's time to change my cover picture. I think that's probably true. But you never know. You never know, eh? Maybe Martial's going to go out there, nail it, come back, and no, he won't. I probably hesitate to say that Martial's played his last game for Manchester United. That's a guess, but I don't know. Let's go down here. I mean, Jonathan, you are going to get banned for that. No, you're not. Samantha, let's see what you're all saying down here. Sammy? No one's actually ever called me Sammy, but no. Anuj, Doc, you are correct. It is indeed Samuel. Samwise. I prefer Samwise. Call me Sam. No, just call me Sam. My name is Sam. Samwise Gamgee. I'm actually the reason why the ring made it to Mordor. All right. Just saying that. Frodo did everything to stop it. But Samwise, I'm the real hero of that film. Lord of the Samwise. That's what they should call it. But let's go on here and let's have a look at what else James Ducker is having to say. He's saying that Dean Henderson, despite wanting regular football, has been told that he cannot leave this January. Now, I think that's going to... I feel like that might be a bit of a problem. There's rumors that Dean Henderson is part of the reason why all these lineups keep getting leaked, but that's just pure assumption. But Dean Henderson, this is what I'm talking about. Anthony Martial leaving on loan. Some of you might argue, Sam, we should be keeping players like Martial in case we need it. But you never know. We might get injuries to Rashford and injuries to Greenwood, and then all of a sudden we need Martial. Why wouldn't you keep him at the club? And I would be like, okay, slightly fair enough point. But also, if he doesn't want to be there, it's the wrong attitude to have in the dressing room. And I think the same can go for Dean Henderson. Dean Henderson, a massively frustrating season for him because he was on the verge of becoming Manchester United's numero uno. Worked his way into that position last season. I think he would have been Manchester United's number one if he didn't catch COVID. He caught COVID, had long COVID. I can relate to that. It was horrible. It took me a month to get back into the gym. Obviously, I'm a very normal human being, so it's a little bit different. But yeah, Dean lost his opportunity, and De Gea took his chance. Wow, did De Gea take his chance? And now Dean's going to get nowhere near that starting 11. Not because De Gea's built up all that credit now. Again, they sort of restored the faith that he had in fans, or the fans had in him, sorry. And therefore, I just can't see Dean playing, not even in the FA Cup games. Or maybe in the FA Cup games, but he didn't come in. He doesn't want to be here to play FA Cup games. That's what I mean. So keeping Dean inside that squad in that dressing room, he's at that point in his career. He wants to play every week. I thought Dean Henderson to Ajax sounded like the best thing in the world, but I don't think it's going to happen. Comment here from Suki saying, my thoughts on Basuma. Basuma's, nothing's going to happen with Basuma in January. That's for sure. And if Basuma does happen, it will probably happen in the summer. And I think it'll be a relatively cheap deal to do for anybody who wants to go after him. And there's no doubt there's going to be plenty after Yves Basuma. Henderson is one of the leaks, says, and knows, you know that. Okay. Certainly saying Dean would give 110% if given the chance. That's the difference. Of course he would. I don't doubt that whatsoever. But he's not going to get in there ahead of David De Gea. So now we've got Dean Henderson at the club, who doesn't really want to be there. But at the same time, you still got Tom Heaton, and you still got Lee Grant, the caretaker, the grass cutter, the sandwich maker, the wallpaperer. I don't know what he does at Manchester United, but he certainly does not play football. So if you're going to have four goalkeepers at the club, just seems a bit overkill. And going on to the final ones there that James Ducker discusses, Donny van der Beek, Eric Bailly, and Phil Jones. He's saying there could be late loan moves for all three of those. My opinion there is there's no chance I think we're loaning Van der Beek out. If would that? No, I personally think, let me know what you think. I don't think there's any chance we loan Van der Beek out. We're definitely not going to loan Eric Bailly out. And I don't think we're going to loan Phil Jones out. I think if any of them move, they have to move permanently. And I don't think that any of them are going to move permanently in the January transfer window. That's what my gut is telling me. But you let me know what you think there. I'll read a few of your comments out, and then we'll move on to see what Laurie Whitwell has had to say. Because as it's always the case, it's best to get your news from as many sources as possible, because then you start seeing patterns. You start seeing that the reliable journalists are reporting the same thing, and that's when it becomes more factual, rather than just hanging everything on one source and then being let down. That's the way it should work anyway. Heston Blumenthal apparently is a goalkeeper for Manchester United. Jonathan saying Henderson's a bloody good keeper. I'll be happy for him as our number 2, as long as we have a plan to replace De Gea in the future. See, that's why, you know what happened with me. I felt pretty, not certain, but confident that United could let De Gea go in the summer and replace him with Henderson. In the same way that we managed to go from Van der Sar to Henderson, Van der Sar to De Gea, sorry, I thought we could go from De Gea to Henderson, and I would have felt confident enough with that. And I thought that Henderson would have grown into the role in the same way that De Gea grew into the role. Let's not forget De Gea's first, season? Full season? At least first 6 months, where he looked like a whippet. He looked like, you'd be like, is he really going to cut it? So much criticism. And then he had that overhand save against Mata at Stamford Bridge. Remember that? That was a blinder. But De Gea grew into it, and I thought Henderson could do the same, and I still think he can do the same. Richie is saying Grant must make a banging cup of tea. That's all I can see him do. Man, I don't know what he does. He must make an absolutely killer cheese toasty. Because, yeah, he certainly does not play football. Let's go. Maxwell, you're saying Vida should be loaned out. His career will die if he continues to be benched. He's not getting any younger. So what I said yesterday, I have real sympathy for Donny van der Beek. Came here as a 23-year-old, absolutely flying off the back of a season with Ajax, and has had 2 years of pure stagnation at Manchester United. It's unfair for him. Satyaki, you're saying 4K videos, Sam. I don't think we're going to get 4K videos. No one needs to see this mug in 4K. 1080p is enough. Although it will be lit better soon. Don't worry about that. Probably tomorrow. I'm going to get this video done. I'll get the other video done after. I'll get the lights sorted this afternoon. And then it's all going to be better. So make sure you drop a like on the video. subscribe if you're new. And if you want to support the channel, do whatever you can. You can fire in a super chat. I'll always read your super chats out. And if you'd like to, join Michael and become a member of the channel. By the way, Michael, you've entered the draw automatically. How many have we got left? I think we've got 5 left, 4 left, something like that. You've entered the draw for the Ronaldo shirt this week. Lewis, if you're watching, Lewis, he received his shirt that was posted out on Saturday. Look at that. Went today. Hey, look at that. Big up to everybody, every single one of you that continues to support United People's TV. And I'm really looking forward to the more engaging, interactive content. I'm going to start doing a fan phone-in show. Probably on third. I won't say when or how. I'm still writing the plan for it. But I'll let you know after the international break. Matt Frost over on Facebook. I haven't seen your name before, so I'm going to read your comment out, sir. Hey, Sam, just like Lingard and Martial, if Van der Beek doesn't get more playing time, surely he misses out on a national team spot for the World Cup. Absolutely. Absolutely, Matt. I don't think you're wrong there. And he's missed out a lot. And Netherlands have got a bit of extra juice back in them now. They seem to be a decent squad, a decent team. And Van der Beek's just having to sit there on the sideline and watch it. Must suck for him. Must absolutely suck for him because he'd definitely be part of it if he was playing football. Jonathan's saying, I think you should start the video as if you were coming out the tunnel to your new disco lights. Should we see how disco we could get these? I shouldn't do this. I'm definitely... What does that button do? There we go. There's your disco lights. How do you stop it? Oh, God. I shouldn't have done that. Turn it off. Stop. Anyway, we'll have a disco at some point. Ian saying, when's the mod exclusive draw? Maybe I'll do one of those as well. But look, let's go on and let's talk about Laurie Whitwell. I'm getting distracted and not all of you have loads of time this morning. Apologise about that. Sometimes I get distracted. This is what Laurie Whitwell is saying about Manchester United's January transfer window. Said, Manchester United view January as a difficult window in which to do business. We signed Bruno Fernandes. In January, by the way. And their approach to this month has followed on from there. At the beginning of 2022, United sources insisted only if summer targets became available would the club move now. And that remains the case into the final week. Ralph Rangnick would have liked an addition or two with Amadou Haidara, one name in his mind. But United have not progressed on any talks on signings, and Rangnick is satisfied with working with his current crop. So there you go. Laurie Whitwell saying there that Ralph Rangnick would have really liked a signing, maybe 2 signings, if the club really would have given him what he wanted. But the club is sort of putting the handbrake on because of the situation that we're at. Now, that it's a bit frustrating. I'm going to do a video on it. That's my video that's going to go out at lunchtime. I'll be honest. It's going to be the video is going to be called like my problem with United not signing a central midfielder, with not giving Ralph Rangnick money in the January transfer window. I don't really understand it because we've just gained plenty of money saved on the wages of Martial. I think we might have a loan fee in there, but I'm not guaranteed. I'm not definitely sure that we have one. And then you've got Manchester United letting Jesse Lingard go. Going to get around about 5 million loan fee plus his 80 grand a week wages off the bill. That's 320 grand a week off the wage bill, plus between 5 and 10 million in loan fees. And we're still not going to go out and sign a central midfielder. That could be worth so much money. It could change the whole scope of what happens next year with this permanent manager. It's such a risk. It's such a risk. And I know that you could say, but you never know, man. You never know. Like that midfielder that we'd sign, it might not be the right midfielder. I'd be like, yeah, you might be right. But shit, you'd take the chance, wouldn't you? With the way this top 4 race is going, you'd definitely take the chance. Gungshi saying, I have to go out now. But before I do, I just want to say, United People's TV has the heroic Samwise, while United Stand have Gollum. No, I didn't say that. That was Gungshi and his lovely cat. There's a comment there that caught my eye. Where was it? Diddle-ding. Sam, do you have a perfect draft machine? Is that the one that, like, you can do your draft at home? I don't have one. It'd be nice. Everyone loves beer, right? Everyone loves beer. Declan Rice to United, says Cigar. Any attacking myth, mate? We all know about Declan Rice. I'm definitely probably... No, not definitely probably. That'd be a stupid thing. I'll definitely do a video. I'll write it down now. Here you go. This is what happens. As I say, people, you can help me. I'm going to do a why Rice would be a perfect signing. Declan Rice has really, really impressed me this year. Really, really impressed me. The sort of progress that he has made has been absolutely fantastic. I didn't think that he was capable of it, but I think he was. Sanjay saying, how can I connect with you personally to talk things about... You can't really, Sanjay. Otherwise, I'll be talking to all of you 24/7. And as much as I love you all, I don't want to do that. Yeah, Jesse Lingard is speaking about here. Laurie Whitwell saying that Donny van der Beek and Dean Henderson are two more high-profile players looking at exits, but finding solutions given the money involved is tricky. And I just don't see Van der Beek leaving. For his own career, absolutely, Van der Beek needs to leave Manchester. He needs to get as far away from this club as possible. But then maybe there's a voice in the back of his mind going, what if Eric Ten Hag comes in? What if Eric Ten Hag comes in? Wiseacre here saying, I love both United People's TV and United Stand. After all, we want what's best for our club. I don't know where the hate comes from. Look, I don't hate Mark. I've got nothing against him. Never fucking talked to him in my life. I don't really want to. He's good at what he does. He's an entertaining person. He's built what he's built. I commend his hard work. Leave it at that. He's got his own process of doing things. I've got my own process of doing things. If you know me by now, you will know that I've never been involved in any sort of beef, any of this bollocks that happens online. It's not my style. I steer the fuck away from it. I've never been involved in a public argument. I've never been involved in anything like that. That's for anybody else to do. It's not my style. I just keep myself to myself and we just talk here. But look, let's skip on to Rob Dawson. I just want to say that because so many comments seem to be coming in about it these days that I can't really ignore it anymore. So why not? That's my opinion on the situation from Northern Ireland. Oh, that was terrible. My mum would be embarrassed. This is what Rob Dawson's saying about the transfers as well. So we've heard from James Ducker. We've heard from Laurie Whitwell. This is what Rob Dawson's saying from ESPN. Saying Man United are in talks about loaning Martial to Sevilla. Well, that's already done. Newcastle are waiting to hear. This is the interesting one. Newcastle are waiting to hear if United will sanction a 6-month loan move for Lingard. Are willing to pay a fee of more than 5 million to get the deal done, but are yet to get the green light from Old Trafford. I mean, it really is fantastic. It's blowing my mind that we are going to get 5 million as a loan fee and his wages covered. It should the same way, I suppose. If Lingard does help Newcastle stay up, then they're going to gain far more than 5 million. So from a business sense, I still think they're probably gaining from that, and I think Lingard will help them. Newcastle are doing crap this year, but luckily for them, the bottom of the Premier League is pretty tosh. I think Norwich have won the last 2 games, but I'm sure they're going to be thereabouts. Burnley, bottom of the league, got a couple of games in hand. One against United. We better win that, my God. I think they're going to get dragged into it. Who else you got down there? Watford. They've just sat Ranieri. They've got Hodgson in. Probably a great appointment, to be fair. Roy Hodgson, you imagine, will help them to avoid relegation because he's the king of keeping that defence strong. But I don't know. Lingard to Newcastle will definitely improve their chances. Jason, you would disagree. You think that Rice is overrated. Ryan, you're saying I'm from Northern Ireland and that was terrible. It was terrible, Ryan. Let's pretend that didn't happen. I've literally just spent. Was it last week before? I was in Derry for 4 or 5 days. I thought I got a bit boisterous, and that's where I've got a lot of family from Northern Ireland. So I apologise. Don't ever try that. I honestly, it's better than that. I swear it's better than that. But let's pretend that never happened. All right. Marshall's saying, Sam, why don't you try watch-alongs? I've answered that plenty of times before in the past. The last thing I want to do when I'm watching a football game is look at a camera. It doesn't make any sense to me. I would not enjoy a football game if I have to speak the whole way through it. It's too tense. Imagine that. Imagine that. I would have lost. I probably would have punched the camera from that Rashford winner. It's just not my. I can't imagine anything worse than doing an individual watch along. Maybe I would do if there was like a few lads all sitting around chatting and watching it. But no, I don't want to ever do a watch along, and you won't ever get me doing a watch along. So if you enjoyed them, you know where to get them, but unfortunately, you won't get them on United People's TV. Let's go over to the bubs. I know. I apologise, everybody. I apologise, everybody, about how bad that accent was. I'm getting some absolute pelters in the comments, and I think I'll be honest, I deserve them. It was bad. Right. Martial. Blah blah blah. This is from Simon Stone from the BBC. Now, we all know about Martial. That's done and dusted. But what is he saying about Lingard? We want to see from as many sources as possible. Let's go here. It said Jesse Lingard is still wanted by Newcastle, although BBC Sport has been told reports that the Magpies have offered a 10 million loan fee for the England international, whose contract expires in the summer, are wide of the mark. Now, I think that might I'm hoping that's just a bit of miscommunication because no one's really said it's a 10 mil loan fee. People are saying it's going to be like a 5 to 6 mil loan fee and the wages covered. So the wages are, we did this yesterday. We did the maths, didn't we? 80 grand a week, 320 grand a month over the period of 4 months. It'd be like just over 1.2 mil roughly, between 1.2 1.4 million wages on top of a loan fee of 5 to 6 mil. You're looking at in the region of 6 to 7 mil in total rather than a 10 mil loan fee. No one's saying a 10 mil loan fee, even though Newcastle are rich beyond belief. Even that would be mad for them. But even a 5 mil loan fee is outrageously good for United. It really is. Let me go down here and see some of the comments. What we got here? I'll do this one more time just because they're seriously. Oh, no, never mind. Actually, I won't do this one more time. Donny's chance of always saying Benel, that's a new name. Donny's chance of getting into the team would rise automatically, mate. If Ten Hag came in, Donny would run around Old Trafford swinging it. He wouldn't, but he'd be that happy that he probably could. I'd maybe in that sense, as a couple of you are saying in the comments, maybe a loan move would be perfect for Donny van der Beek. He could go out on loan, maybe to Ajax. No, not to Ajax, but he could go out on loan, enjoy 3, 4, 5, 6 months of actually playing football. And then come back to United, and all of a sudden Ten Hag's the manager again. He'd be like, "Wow, fresh start." That could work, but I just don't know. If it was going to happen, it would have happened by now, surely, right? And with Donny van der Beek, he's hardly had a sniff, and he's going to get even less of a chance now that Paul Pogba's coming back from injury. Because if one of them's going to play, I guarantee you it's going to be Paul Pogba. Donny was sold by him, says Jonathan. That's a very fair point. But that was, I wouldn't say that was Donny sold by Ten Hag. I say Donny was sold by Ajax, who took advantage of the opportunity of the market because we know that's the Ajax. It's the Ajax business. It's the way their club is built. The way their club is built is to breed players through their academy inside their system. And they do it so well and so regularly that players come up, players come through. Players like De Ligt, they leave. Players like Ziyech, they leave. De Jong, they leave. And they get replaced by young bloods like Anthony, who's come through and shining for Ajax this season. Really jealous of how many incredible players they get through their academy. But I tell you what, it must be heartbreaking for their fans because they know that they've only got one or two. And that's why that 2018-19 year was so special for Ajax because they had De Jong, De Ligt, Van der Beek. Everybody just came together at the same time. And they just fell short of the Champions League final. And they certainly would have given Liverpool a better showing than Spurs when Harry Kane decided that he was fit to play when he wasn't fit to play. That was horrendous. Thank you very much, Sholdy, for the super chat, my friend. Big up to you. What are you saying? Saying everyone keeps saying sign Zakaria. He's only 5 mil. Sign Kamara. He's only for 10. They have to realize that the contracts expire in the summer. The best strategy for them is to wait it out and have their pick. Absolutely, Sholdy. You're not wrong there. When it comes to what works out best for those players, yeah, it would be to wait, but it's not their choice. They're under contract at their football clubs. I mean, it's not their choice. Of course, they've got a choice to a degree, but the concept of a contract is it means that the football club has the control over where that player plays. That's why you pay a player's wages. That's why you pay a player on and you get him to sign a contract. And therefore, if that club, whether it's Borussia Mönchengladbach, with Dennis Zakaria, or Marseille with Boubacar Kamara, if that club wanted to make a bit of money out of that player rather than losing them for free, they would go and sell them now. And clubs invariably would probably want to do that, right? That's the situation, right? That's the situation here. The comment here from Michael. How you doing, Michael? All the way from North Wales, I remember. Saying, what's our plans with Juan Mata? There aren't any sort of updates on Juan. But you know, I think I made my opinion clear on Juan quite a while ago, is that he's not a player who now has a position inside this squad. Like, for example, we're talking about people are like, oh, Sam, man, like, what, why are we letting Anthony Martial go? Is that not a bad thing? What if you get injuries to Rashford? What if you get injuries to X, Y, Z? And I'll be like, we've got other players coming through. Now, I know Hannibal Mejbri is not a winger by any sorts. He's more of a central attacking midfielder, but he's been playing on the left wing, I believe, the whole time with Tunisia at AFCON, playing in the quarterfinal against Burkina Faso on Saturday. So Tunisia, you have to go down as favourites for that game, surely. So Hannibal Mejbri is going to come back from this tournament a very mature player by comparison of the kid that left. Playing in an international tournament, played in the Arab Cup with Tunisia before as well, got the whole way to the final, I believe, lost that. But now he's got to the final of the Arab Cup and he's in the quarterfinal of the AFCON at the age of 19. So I would much rather give game time to someone like Hannibal Mejbri rather than someone like Juan Mata now. So therefore, in my opinion, what's the point of having Juan in the squad as a player? Now, what's the point of having Juan at the club as an ambassador? That's a whole different ball game and situation. I want Juan to be involved in Manchester United as much as possible past his playing career. Such a role model, someone that everybody can learn from. At the top of his game, he was an absolute master of his craft. Genius footballer, great guy all round. I think he could do a lot of good as an ambassador for Manchester United, and I hope that happens. But when it comes to playing time, absolutely, he should be sold. He should be loaned. He should be shipped. And I think he'd go back to, maybe it'll be like a dream story. He'd go back to Real Oviedo. Where are Real Oviedo in? I don't think they're in the league. I think they must be in the second division in Spain. But with Hannibal, there's one thing that we have to remember with Hannibal, and that's this. Hannibal might be like a 19-year-old youngster, but we paid nearly £10 million to sign him back in 2019 when he was a teenager. We pay big money for Hannibal because you don't pay that sort of money for a teenager. So we really, really saw something in Hannibal. And the fact that he's doing so well at international level with Tunisia at the age of 19, I think goes to show that. I think he's a step above players of his age group and a lot of players around him. So I'm really excited to see what he does when he comes back. So maybe he can be considered a bit of a new side. It's a bit of a cliche, and the Glazers might like that idea. But when it comes to situations like that, there are certain situations at Manchester United, right? Because of our academy really is the lifeblood. Like Brentford, 3 goals, 3 different academy players. Incredible. With Hannibal, when he comes back from the AFCON, comes back in February after the international break, he's going to want first-team football. And therefore, letting the likes of Martial go, letting the likes of Lingard go, 2 players who really don't want to be at the club, and replacing them inside that squad, the fringe squad. I'm not saying that Hannibal's going to come into our starting 11, but I'd much rather our fringe squad and the players who are on the edge are players like Hannibal Mejbri, players like Anthony Langa, who's now taken his steps inside that first team. Because it's that sort of hunger. It's a different mentality. It's a sort of it's the sort of player that you want on the fringe. The sort of player that really is going to try and force his way in properly, rather than a player like Martial or Lingard, who's basically going to go, well, he's not going to play me, so what am I going to do? There are different points in their careers. And that's why I'm looking forward to seeing Hannibal getting given a chance. And that's why I'm not too upset, if I'm being completely honest, at Martial leaving and Lingard leaving. If either of them are going to play a big part at some point under Rangnick, they would have done it by now. And neither of them really have featured at all in the first 10 games. And nothing is going to change between now and the end of the season. So leave them. Got Papaya watching all the way from Tokyo. Wow, that's wicked. Japan is one country I'd absolutely love to visit for the Blossom. But I know it's expensive. And it's fucking far away. It is far away. Lee, you're saying Mata deserves to finish his career back in Spain. Hopefully, after he retires, he can return as a coach. The things he can teach our youngsters will be priceless. It isn't fair on him not playing. Being fair, no, I think it's completely fair. He knows that he's not first choice at Manchester United anymore. And if he wanted to move, I think he would take an approach which Anthony Martial failed to do. He'd go and knock on the door of Ralph Rangnick and he'd say, look, Ralph, I'd like to go back to Spain. I'm not playing here. Can I leave? Ralph would allow that to happen. So if Juan does want to leave, he can absolutely leave, and he knows that. Ralph's always said that his door is open. He's that sort of manager. So the sympathy is, don't really have sympathy for him not playing. But yeah, I'd definitely like him to come back to Manchester United in a sort of coach or an ambassadorial role. Big up Juan. Oh, by the way, I think today was actually the day we signed Man United. I think today was the day we signed him. Man United signed Juan Mata. Let's have a look. No, yesterday. Damn it. Tomorrow. Close enough. Near enough. Damn, I just had to look at a picture of David Moyes as Man United manager. That was horrible. Right, give you a couple more minutes here. Everybody fire in your questions. Anything you want to ask me. Not just opinions, but any questions you want to ask me. I'll run through them. And as I said, I'm going to do a video later on today, in probably around about 1 o'clock. I'll always aim for the afternoon videos. That'll be my time to release them. I'm going to do a video on why I'm so confused as to why United aren't signing anybody in January. Because I think it is mad. I really, really think it is mad. Jonathan, you're here saying Donny, Pereira, Matic, Mata, and Jones all go in the summer. Oh man, it's our squad is so big. Our squad is so big that there simply has to be more people that leave before, not before people come in, but my God, so much has to happen. Really, Sholey, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for supporting the channel, buddy. Any chance Donny is just not good enough? 2 managers and the same limited minutes, like Kagawa, could be the idea of the player, not the actual ability, bro. This is something. This is something I absolutely feel is true. Something is happening behind the scenes that we are not privy to, that we can't see, because 2 managers have not given Donny van der Beek game time. That's a pattern, and something is causing that pattern. And I don't think it's because Man United's midfield is incredible, because it isn't. It never has been under Solskjaer. It never has been under Rangnick. Forgot his name there for a second. So something's going on behind the scenes. Jonathan with a good question. Did your dad get into United? He did. My dad got me into United. He was he lived in Scotland when he was a kid. He moved over to Scotland in the 80s. And all of his brothers supported Liverpool. So he said, so this, I'm supporting United. And that was passed down to me. Fun fact. Syed watching from Pakistan. I'll tell you what, quickly before we wrap up, I want your opinion on this. You have to let me know in the comments. You've got to type the name, right? So we've got Ronaldo up there at the moment. Who goes up next? You've got 4 choices. First up, we've got Nemanja. Look at that. How cool is that? Oh, look, looks like my jacket. So that's Nemanja. It could be Nemanja going up first. Or it could be Roy Keane. Look at that. Oh, you can't see. Too bright. Look at that. Kino. So you got Kino. You got Vidic. They're 2 of the options. There's 2 more. You could have Eric. You could have the King. Look at that. Aren't they class? Big up to Stan Chow, by the way. If you haven't seen these before, these are the Stanley Chow prints. I'm supporting him by buying a few of them, and he's supporting him by sending me a few more. Thank you very much for that, Stan. And this one, I absolutely love. Look at that. Rudy Van Nistelrooy. Oh, my God. How good are they? How good are they? Which one would you like to see on the wall? We've got Rude, we've got Cantona, we've got Keane, and we've got Vidic. My God, there's so many. Who we got? Eric. We've got 2 for Eric. We've got Josh. You're going for Rude. You want Eric. Mick, you want Keane. Victor, you want Cantona. There's a couple for Cantona. Kino. Roy Kit. Ooh. Rude and Vidic. We can only have one more. And Manoy. Oh, man, I don't know who to choose. Can we stick them all up? I wish I could stick them all up. Matt, you want Rude, Cantona, Keane, Rude. I'll tell you what, it's a very, very split comment space here. Very, very split. Rude the dude. My word. I'll tell you what, you're all going to have to tune in tomorrow. There are so many comments flying in. That's pretty cool. But how sexy are those? They're wicked. I really love the colours of the Rude one. Mate, Ruud van Nistelrooy. Jeez, we were lucky to see him. My God, that year was it? I think he had 3 years where he scored more than 30 goals in all competitions. Amazing. Have a draw with balls in the pot, says Jonathan. Well, what I'm going to be doing, I've also got 2 more. I need to buy 2 more frames. Little cheeky teaser. We've got a George Best one and we've got a Paul Scholes one as well. So we're going to keep switching. I'm going to keep switching that in and out to keep it fresh here on United People's TV. But I'm going to put one of those up tomorrow. You'll find out who it is in the morning. But thank you very much, everybody, for joining in today. I hope you enjoyed it. It's as interactive as I can make it. Thank you very much, Sholdy, for your super chats. Thank you very much, Michael, for joining as a member. If anybody else you'd like to support the channel, just join as a member. I'd love to have you on board. As I said, I try to make it as interactive as I possibly can. I'll be here later today for my other video. Going to be speaking about why I'm frustrated at us not making a central midfield signing in January. And I'll be here later on if anything else happens. But look, thank you all for joining in. And I'll see you tomorrow.